Hello and welcome to an India Today special broadcast. I'm Gaurav Savant. India is like an oasis of peace in a very troubled neighborhood and a world in turmoil. But as history has taught us, to protect peace, we must be prepared to wage war. And who better to talk about war and peace than Lieutenant General Manoj Kumar Katiyar, Army Commander, Western Command. Sir, many thanks for joining us on the Chakravyuh.
Thank you. Thank you, Gaurav.
Sir, when we talk about what's happening in our neighborhood, the world, we look at the concept of war, but we want peace. How can Dharm and Yudh, we're talking about Dharm, Yudh, go together? Because you're a practitioner of war. In India, we don't have the concept of crusades or Jihad. So what is Dharmayudh all about?
Yeah, I think, Gaurav, it's a very pertinent issue, Dharmayudh. Because today we are seeing that more and more countries are relying on power, military forces to resolve their issues. And I think it's a very good place to talk of Dharmayudh. We are sitting below Dharma Chakra. On one side we have the statue of Chanakya. Other side we have the portraits of the two field marshals. But I think for us, Dharma is more than religion. Dharma is the way we live our life, the ethical, the truthful way. So it goes much beyond religion. So for us, Dharma Yuddha is not a war for religion. It's not like crusades. It's fighting a war in a righteous manner. So I think the most apt translation of Dharma Yuddha, if I can say in English, would be maybe the just war. And just war was something which St. Augustine conceptualized and codified when he talked of jus et bellum, fighting for a right cause, and jus in bello, fighting in a right manner. But for us, I think it's been a part of our history, part of our culture, the Dharma Yuddha.
When we look at our history, our culture, and I'll come to modern wars in just a moment, or post-independence wars. But one of our civilizational concepts is Dharmo Rakshati Rakshata. How does that translate into the actions of our armed forces? Or how do you, as practitioner of war, how do you take this forward? Because we don't have that concept of crusades at all.
Yeah, actually, if you go back, even earliest of our text, Rig Veda, it talked of Dharma Yuddha. It said you can fight in self-defense. You can pick up arms in self-defense. It also gave the concept of fighting in a righteous way. Rig Veda says that do not attack sick or wounded, do not harm a woman or child, do not attack from behind. And if you look at Ramayana and Mahabharata, they depict the victory of good over evil. I mean, Ram fought Ravan to save the dignity of Sita. In Mahabharata, Krishna urges Arjun to pick up arms to fight the Dharma Yuddha. In fact, Mahabharata, as we look at it, I mean, one of the biggest battles ever fought. This was a battle of war to save Dharma. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bhartaha abhyuthanam adharmasya tadatmanam sajamya. So I think there cannot be a better example of Dharma Yuddha than Mahabharata. And interestingly, Gaurav, we are in the middle of Shahidi week.
True.
And 26 December has been declared as the Veer Bal Divas to honor the brave
Sahibzades,
children of Guru Gobind Singh. And Guru Gobind Singh ji also told us to do the righteous things. For him, Dharm was Shubh Karma. De Shivavar mohe yehe Shubh Karmante kabhu na taru.
ना डरूं अरी सह जब जाए लड़ूं निश्चय कर अपनी जीत करूं.
So for us, Dharma Yuddha has been a part of our culture, a part of our history. So for Indian Army, it's not something new we are trying to imbibe. It has been with us all along.
So does that inspire us, civilizationally, Ramayana, Mahabharata, Guru Gobind Singh Ji, Maharaja Ranjit Singh, Chhatrapati Shivaji, there are so many braves, but we're also the land of Bhagwan Mahavir and Gautam Buddha. So when we talk about Yudh and Shanti, peace, is there a moral dilemma somewhere?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very, very, what should I say, pertinent question, because India is a land of peace, ahimsa, land of Mahatma Gandhi, Buddha. They taught us the virtues of peace, ahimsa. In fact, all the religions, our ancient religions, Buddha, Dharm, Jain, Hindu, they all laid huge emphasis on peace. But then all these religions also tell us to pick up arms in self-defense. And for us, actually, the wars we have fought in the past and in the present have been to restore peace. And they have been, you can say in a way, as a last resort. Because Ram also didn't want to fight Ravan. He sent Angad to convince Ravan. But then Ravan didn't get done, and to return Sita. And Mahabharata, Lord Krishna himself went to Hastinapur with Matrika Sandesh, asked Gaurav, give 5 villages to Pandavas, de do keval 5 gram, rakho apni dharti tamam. So that has been our culture, that war has been a matter of last resort. We have always looked for peace. Even after independence, peace with China and Pakistan has been very important to us. You remember Hindi, Chini, Bhai Bhai. Of course. And our Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee, he went to Lahore in a bus, seek peace with Pakistan. Actually, for us, the peace is important not only amongst neighbors, for the two countries. It is important for the whole world. We look at the world as one big family. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. And Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is Mahopanishad, 800 BC, it was written. And even in G20, the motto was Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So the peace with our neighbors, peace in the word as a big family, this is something which is very important to us.
I mean, yeah, ayam nij paroveti garana laghu chetasam udar charitanam tu Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. But in our region, that's our philosophy. Our region does not seem to go by that philosophy. I mean, let's just come to, I'll come to Sindoor in just a moment, but let's start from 1947-48. We got independence and Pakistan launched an attack on us. So, when we fight a war, do we look at the just war and the just prosecution of war?
Okay, 1947-48, we could have annexed Kashmir earlier, after 15th August, but we didn't do so.
POJK.
Yeah, we only went into Kashmir at the behest of the Maharaja of Kashmir. We only went in because Maharaja realized that Pakistani raiders were causing a lot of mayhem, destruction in Kashmir. And you look what Pakistan did in 47-48. I mean, on the pretext of saving Islam, the raiders who came, they were raping, murdering people in Kashmir. You have been to Baramulla, I think. Yes. You have been to Baramulla. So the town, in the 2 days, from 14,000 people, the population of town got reduced to 1,000. That was the kind of barbaric acts Pakistan did. So our soldiers went to Kashmir to save the Awam of Kashmir from the raiders which had been launched by Pakistan. So I thought it was a very just thing, a Dharmayudh we did. 65, we talked at length on 65, I think in October. And there again, we were repeatedly provoked by Pakistan. So I think after both these wars, we accepted ceasefire in the larger interest of peace. So I think both were very apt examples of Dharma Yuddha by India and ultimately aiming for peace.
Many in this generation perhaps don't know what happened, what the Pakistani raiders did in Baramulla, in Uri, the defense of Kashmir, the manner in which it was mounted post 27th of October 1947. What can you tell us about that, sir? What did the Pakistani raiders do, sir?
See, Pakistani raiders were launched by the Pakistan army. It was a very well planned mission to annex Kashmir. And They entered from Uri, they came till Baramulla, and in Baramulla where they caused all the mayhem. And that is the time I think the Maharaja decided to seek Indian troops to come in and save the valley from Pakistani raiders. So that is how things unfolded. 27th October we landed there, we defeated the Pakistani forces and we saved the people of Kashmir from the raiders of Pakistan.
When we were, prosecuting that just war, as you put it, would you see that as Dharm Yuddh? Pakistan sees that as Jihad for Kashmir.
See, like I said, Dharma Yuddha is fighting a righteous war in a righteous manner. So we were fighting for a very righteous cause. We were fighting to save the population of Kashmir. And we are fighting in a righteous manner. We are fighting in uniform as soldiers, unlike Pakistani soldiers who were dressed half the time as civilians, masquerading as raiders. So we are fighting in a very just manner, a very just war.
Sir, 47, 48, should we have prosecuted it all the way, gone ahead and retaken Pakistan-occupied Jammu Kashmir? Should we have done that in 65 or 1971? Would you look at 1971 as a just war?
47, 48, 65, like I said, ultimate aim was peace. So in the interest of peace, we accepted the ceasefire. 71 was a totally different case. Now, and I think it is the most apt example of a Dharma Yuddha. What was happening in 1971 in Bangladesh? I think we seem to have forgotten. Thousands and thousands of Bangladeshis were killed. It was a genocide.
By Pakistan?
By Pakistan army, maybe similar to the Holocaust, maybe even worse than the Holocaust, because world was a silent spectator. Nobody was responding to it. Now, could we have also remained silent in the face of such barbaric happenings in our neighborhood? I mean, if you remain silent in face of crime, in face of evil, your conscience has to pay a price. I'll go back to Mahabharat Karna. He perhaps is the most righteous man, the biggest, the greatest warrior, the biggest Dani. He donated his Kavach Kundal, his life to Indra. But he has one regret in his life, one regret when he is dying. What? He was present in the court the day Draupadi was disrobed. वधुजन को रक्षण नहीं दिया क्यों, समर्थन पाप का उस दिन किया क्यों, न कोई योग्य निष्कृत पा रहा हूं, लिए ये दाह मन में जा रहा हूं. So could India have remained a mute spectator in all this happening? I think not. We couldn't have remained mute spectators to thousands and thousands of Bangladeshi sisters getting disrobed by Pakistani army soldiers. We had to intervene. And I think it was a perfect act what we did. And of course the Mukti Bahini was with us. What is the Bangladesh army today was with us. And we defeated the Pakistan army. We liberated East Pakistan, which is what the Bangladesh today is. So I think it's a very just war we fought, Dharm Yuddh we fought in Bangladesh.
So we fought Dharm Yuddh in Bangladesh for the liberation of Bangladesh from Pakistan and to protect the women who were being mass raped by Pakistan army, genocide, as you say, that was carried out that time by Pakistan army. And yet, sir, today we see the same Bangladesh cozying up to Pakistan. So, while we fight the just war, the Mukti Bahini fought the just war. What's going wrong in Bangladesh today? Is there a lesson for us? Is there a lesson for the people of Bangladesh?
I think it's a little difficult time for Bangladesh, and we wish Bangladesh a great future. I have very high regards for Bangladesh army. It's a professional army, and I think they will do the right thing. You talked of lesson, Gaurav. I think it's very important that we learn our lessons from history. It comes to us at no cost. But then if we don't learn from history, then it teaches us lessons, and often at very, very great cost. So I can only say that we need to look into history, and I wish Bangladesh and its people a very bright future.
Indeed, because people of India have a lot of fondness for people of Bangladesh. And when Bangladesh economy does well, it's good. When the society does well, it's good. But when it goes down that radical Islamist way, or when, minorities are targeted in that country, you feel very concerned. And at a time when Pakistan's ISI appears to be making deeper inroads there, or Lashkar-e-Taiba or Jaish-e-Mohammed seem to be making inroads there. What I want to understand is Bangladesh falling into the Pakistan trap all over again? I mean, we returned 93,000 Pakistani prisoners of war. Pakistan continues to bleed us.
No, it's a difficult situation, like you're saying. If there are inroads being made by terrorist organizations, it is an unfortunate thing. But like I said, I have huge faith in the Bangladesh army, and I think they will do the right thing. But we need to remain cautious. That is the only thing I can say.
True, sir. We agreed to a ceasefire with Pakistan. The Western army fought so well on this front, sir. India returned 93,000 Pakistani prisoners of war. There was an agreement, and yet what we notice is Pakistan continuing to bleed India. So while we fight a just war, they continue with their radical Islamist terror to bleed us. What are lessons there?
Yeah, I think 1971 we captured over 93,000 prisoners. But again, remember, like I said, we fought a war for a righteous cause. We fought in a righteous manner. And these prisoners of war also we treated very well.
So,
I mean, they were given all the facilities, all the privileges as per the rules and regulations. And you rightly said, I mean, we returned the 93,000 prisoners, and the Shimla agreement is perhaps the most liberal peace agreement you can see. But all this was in the quest of peace. We are looking for peace with our neighbor. So that is how I think 1971 war, it started with a just cause and it ended in a just manner. That is aiming for peace with the neighbor.
But the end result, I want to come back to the point, because each time we've been more than kind to Pakistan. 47, 48, 1961 when you had the Indus Waters Treaty, it was India's kindness giving them so much more and giving them money and helping them in every which way. Yet we had the 65 war, then we had the 71 war, we returned, 93,000 POWs and territory for them, to them, so that their civilian leadership could get more powerful. On the contrary, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto was hanged, Ziaul Haq came to power, and then they used, terror as means to start bleeding India. So we fight a just war and they don't. So are we, at the receiving end? And then, for example, they did Kargil on us. So how do you see that?
Yeah, I mean, you understand Pakistan well, Gaurav. You have been covering them. The problem with Pakistan is that Pak army is de facto ruling the country since independence, either directly or indirectly. And to Pak army, the interest of people is secondary. Their own survival, their own well-being is what they are looking at. So let us not fault the people of Pakistan. I mean, we have been one country for so long. So it's a question of the leadership, the kind of leadership which they have got, which is creating all the enmity between India and Pakistan. So getting back to Kargil, again, this was again like an act of Pak army. When they realized that the civilian government is becoming powerful. So you can say it was a kind of coup which Musharraf did. And Pak soldiers occupied certain heights on one side of line of control. We evicted them, But again, if I look at Kargil war, it was again, we did the right thing. We didn't extend the scope of war outside the area. The aim was very clear. We wanted to evict Pakistanis from the peaks on our side, and we restricted our operations to that area only. In the interest of peace, we did not extend the war to rest of Jammu and Kashmir or maybe to Punjab or Rajasthan. So I think it's a very just thing we did. But something interesting I want to tell you, Gaurav, here is that in the course of war, Pakistan army disowned its own soldiers. They refused to accept the dead bodies of their soldiers. So I think there can't be anything worse than betraying your own debts. And we buried them. We gave them all honor. We buried them as per the religious customs. So you see the contrast between the two armies. The contrast between the adharm, not accepting the dead bodies of their soldiers, and the dharm, what Indian army has been doing.
So Pak army, as you rightly point out, is an adharmi army. It does not, follow the just path or the path of righteousness in persecution of their aim in war, or even through terror. Sir, you've dealt with counter-terror operations. You've commanded your battalion in a very difficult position during operations against terror. Again, do we fight a just war when you're dealing with terrorists, and they, on the other hand, Pakistan fights through proxies, through terrorists? We bleed more fighting a just war?
See, Pakistan army has, like I said, has not been fighting a just war. In 1947-48, like the raiders came in. 65 again, the Kabailis, they were half Pak army. So Pak army is trying to fight in disguise of civilians, which is a very bad thing. I mean, as a soldier, you need to fight as a soldier. 98, they again came as infiltrators. Half of them were their NLI troops. So as an army, you have to wear a uniform and fight. Indian army does that. Insurgency is something which is very difficult operation to do, because you are fighting in your own country, and at times you are fighting some of your own misguided people. So here also, I think Indian army has been doing things in a very ethical manner. We have been dealing with these situations for a very, very long time, and we are very, very careful in not causing any casualties to civilians. We have not used heavy weapons, artillery or air in any of our operations.
And they use artillery and air against their own people.
Against their own people. So much so that we also realize that people are the key in any such operation. So a lot of our focus is winning the hearts and minds of the local population where these things are happening. And maybe the way we have handled these operations over the years, a number of internal security situations have been resolved or on the verge of resolution. So it is also a reflection on the way we have handled operations. Now, not only how well we have militarily conducted those operations, but how well ethically we have conducted those operations.
Sir, if we were to now talk about counter-terror operations and Pakistan state-sponsored radical Islamist terror that we saw in the form of the Pahalgam terror attack, what can be more adharmi or going just completely against that concept of dharm, where Pakistani terrorists come, ask for religion of the innocent tourists in Jammu Kashmir and shoot them in the name of religion, following orders of the Pakistani deep state? Now, did we respond to that again as a just war?
Okay, I mean, what happened in Pahalgam was a very sad incident. I mean, killing of innocent people by the Pak-based Tanjeems. Of Sindoor, you were aware. We retaliated. Our aim was very clear: to teach Pakistan a lesson, to destroy the terror camps, launch pads, their headquarters. Now again, the aim was not to cause damage to the civilian population. So we did not at any time engage any civilian target. So this, I think, was a very just thing, very right thing to do, because we wanted to punish the terrorists and their masters, not the innocent civilians in Pakistan. So I think we fought again the Op Sindoor in a very just manner. Again, I think it's a perfect example of Dharma Yuddha.
Now, we showed restraint, but Pakistan doesn't. They try to kill our civilians, they try to target our installations, and they continue to bleed us. Is, now from fighting that just war to learning from Chanakya Niti, while we have the Dharm Chakra here, we also have Acharya Chanakya, and Acharya Chanakya believed in destroying the enemy, Sam Dam Dand Bhed. Is that what is the need of the hour, to destroy that Pakistan state-sponsored radical Islamist terror network, sir?
Yeah, I think we are doing it, but we are doing it in an ethical manner. Now, if we start doing what Pakistan is doing, and we get down to the same tactics, what is the difference between him and us? We talk of Dharm, and if we start acting in a way which is not righteous, then he has reduced us to his level. So in a way he would have won if we start doing what he is doing. So let us fight the way we are fighting. I am very sure ultimately Dharm will win. It is a matter of time, maybe a little longer it may take, but we'll fight in the righteous manner. Even if his designs are, like you are saying, are often not very right.
The aim with which you set out to carry out Operation Sindoor, did you feel you've achieved that aim? We're told Operation Sindoor is still on. So, as Army Commander, Western Command, what would be your message to those who use unjust means to bleed India?
Well, firstly, like you said, did we achieve our aim in Operation Sindoor? I very confidently I can say that we achieved our aim, what we had set out to achieve during Op Sindoor. But the issue remains whether Pak will do it again, such an act. Have we prevented recurrence of such an act? So I think Pak has learned its lessons, and I'm quite hopeful that it may not, or it will not repeat what it did in Pahalgam. But having said that, we talked of Pak military leadership some time back, and that remains a cause of worry. Because Pak leadership to me seems very self-centered. For their own interest, for their own survival, they can go down to any level. And you have been following Pak military leadership. A few days back, Asim Munir gave a statement wherein he said that they had divine intervention during Op Sindoor. I mean, it's so ridiculous. How can any religion, any God help such an unholy crime?
True.
And he also said, I think a very interesting statement he made, that only state or nations can wage jihad. So in a way he is accepting that all the terrorists who are operating in Kashmir and calling for jihad are having full support of Pak army. They're not, I mean, I'll go to the extent that they're not only supported, I think they're kind of owned by Pak army. Because their chief says that anything and everything which is originating from there has to be owned by the nation, by the state. But they are little worried also. The Pak military leadership is little worried also. When you see these things happening, they have stripped the nation's Supreme Court of the powers. They are seeking immunity for themselves. So again, these are some symbols that they are not very comfortable. They are nervous. And
is that why? Sorry, sir. Please.
Yeah, please go ahead.
No, is that why Pakistan Army Chief, he keeps quoting, Quran, and he keeps reciting verses from the Quran, because he's desperately trying to seek legitimacy to cling on to power and to justify whatever his actions are. Is that your reading?
Yes, so why these things happen in India, Op Sindoor or anything in future, has got a lot to do with the internal dynamics of Pakistan. So the military leadership wants to legitimize its power. It does not want the civilian government to rule the country. And for that matter, they create this bogey of threat from India and threat to the religion. He talks of two-nation theory. He talks of saving Islam, quotes Quran so often. So these are all in his own self-interest. But I think, like I said earlier, I feel a kind of nervousness in Pak top military leadership. And I can only compare their the psyche of Pak military leadership to Duryodhan.
Oh, can you elaborate on
जब
that?
नाश मनुष्य पर छाता है, पहले विवेक मर जाता है. So I think they are not going to listen to the right counsel, and there is desperation in their rank and file. So they may do something untoward, and we need to be watchful. We need to be careful of any action which Pakistan army may take.
So this is a very interesting point you're making, sir. You're comparing Asim Munir to Duryodhan in Mahabharat, who wants to cling on to power, who wants to cling on and remain there, and will do something wrong. Sir, is that why the Western Command is repeatedly saying, if I remember correctly, I heard you say, or the Western Command put out something, तैयारी अभी भी जारी है, तैयारी पहले से ज़्यादा भारी है.
No, yeah, we continue to prepare. Like we cannot let our guard down. It's not that we have defeated the enemy decisively in Op Sindoor. Now we can rest on our laurels. No, we need to be prepared. Like I said, I remain worried about the motivation of the Pak military leadership. I remain worried about their psyche, their nervousness, and in their act of desperation, they may end up doing something similar to Pahalgam. So that remains a cause of concern. So we need to be prepared to fight the next war.
That's a very big point you're making, sir, that a very desperate Pakistan army, an army chief like Asim Munir, to cling on to power, will once again try to do something like a Pahalgam. Because the moment he did a Pahalgam, he consolidated himself, weakened the civilian leadership in Pakistan, became field marshal, and now to remain that, he may try something like this again. Could it be through Bangladesh, the way ISI is making deeper inroads there? And sir, as army commander, on that too of this very sensitive Western Command, how do you motivate your troops to fight a just war when he's fighting the Duryodhan way or the Adharmi way in conflict?
I think we as Indians pride ourselves in following Dharma. So for us, fighting Dharma Yuddh comes naturally. We believe in fighting in a righteous manner. We believe in fighting for a righteous cause, and for us the safety, honor and welfare of our country comes first, always and every time. The motivation of our Jawans, I think, naam, namak or nishan. There cannot be anything more important today than the nishan, our tricolor. So in saving the tricolor, we are safeguarding the country. And of course, a lot of our soldiers lose their life in the process, trying to save the tricolor. They do their final journey wrapped in a tricolor. So I think we can only pay homage to our brave soldiers who have laid down their life fighting for the country and fighting in a righteous way, way of Dharma. So fighting a Dharma Yuddha. So I think we owe to all our Dharmayuddhas who have fought the Dharmayuddhs all these years.
What would your message to the Vidharmi or to Asim Munir in Pakistan be, somebody who quotes his religion to wage terror, calls it Jihad or words to that effect, saying we are two different people, we are two different armies, we are two different countries. What would your response be, sir?
No, I think, like I said, most of his utterances, most of his actions are related to self-preservation. If I have to give a message, I think the message is to the people of Pakistan. They have to be wary of their military leadership. They have to get wise. They have to understand that the cause of all their problems, be it internal, be it external, lies with the leadership they have. They have to give chance to the civilian leadership. They have to give chance to their political leadership. Then only I think the Pakistan will shine as a nation, and we'll have what we always hope to have very good relations with Pakistan. But in the present context, like you have said, with the military ruling the country, the possibility of peace, it remains remote.
Very wise words that come from you, that it's for the people of Pakistan to decide